I will readily admit from the outset that I am obsessed with this issue. I have become obsessed with Lyme disease and other tick-borne diseases. I've become obsessed with ticks in general. That stems from the very first conversations I had with Deputy Borough President Ed Burke, who suffers from Lyme disease. It stems from conversations with my dear friend Dee Vandenberg, who is suffering from it. It stems from 4.5 years since we've gotten to Borough Hall focusing on this issue and educating ourselves on this issue. In my team and I, in the last 4.5 years, have spent a lot of time focusing on this, not because we are alarmists, but because we know the serious, sometimes very serious medical side effects, because we know the data and the trends that are happening on Staten Island, and we know ultimately how this can impact lives. The mayor said this is a life-changing disease, and it most certainly is. I have talked to Staten Islanders whose lives are forever different. And unfortunately, this situation worsens across the country. The numbers on Staten Island, we've been in constant contact with the Department of Health. We work collaboratively with them. The numbers are just back from their tick sweeps in 2017, and the incidence of the black-legged tick on Staten Island has doubled. So we have more black-legged ticks on Staten Island. What might be even more troubling is that the number of Lone Star ticks on Staten Island came in actually greater than we had expected. And if you talk to Bob, Bob will tell you that the Lone Star tick is different than its brethren in that it's much more aggressive. And Bob talks about how the Lone Star tick chases its hosts. And at first I thought that was hyperbole, but that was confirmed in talking to Dr. Osfeldt about how aggressive they are. So the numbers on Staten Island continue to worsen. In the words of Dr. Richard Osfeldt from the Carey Institute, this is an enormous and growing problem across the country. There are now 300 or 400,000 cases of Lyme disease nationally, and if you talk to certain folks, they will tell you that is way underreported, exponentially so, maybe tenfold so. And that is an issue that we have to get better at on Staten Island and the city of New York, and that is working with our primary care physicians to make sure that we have better reporting. Don't tell me there are 1 or 2 or 10 cases of Lyme disease on Staten Island. That is not accurate, and I'm not saying that's a criticism of the Department of Health, but we have to educate primary care physicians, and we have to do a much better job of getting a clearer understanding of where we are exactly with this disease. Several months ago, I saw a story, it might have been one of my friends from the media here present today, a story about the tick project being undertaken by the Carey Institute in Dutchess County. The numbers in Dutchess County, Senator Lanza, as you probably know from talking to your colleagues, are off the charts. If you go to the Millbrook Vineyard, I know Joe Borelli has been there, great winery in Dutchess County. I encourage you to go, but take all those precautionary steps. But the Carey Institute is doing incredible work. Dr. Osfeldt, Richard Osfeldt, is leading it, and that's when we first heard about, months ago, the use of the fungus. That's when we heard about the bait boxes. And if you follow my Twitter feed, you've seen over the last several months us tweet out a cartoon that we have done. We call it the Mouse Car Wash. You've also seen us tweet out, and we'll make available to the media, an actual picture of one of the bait boxes that Dr. Osfeldt showed us, a simple metal box that has bait, draws the mouse in, and the mice get drops of the same ingredient that we put on our cats and our dogs with for their collars or for the drops. And the idea is to prevent cases from happening before they start by reducing the tick population. We can stay all day and all night. I will provide the Johnny Walker, and we can debate, and you could hear Senator Lanza go on for hours about the role of the mice and the role of the deer. Dr. Osfeld has a book, and one chapter he entitles it, It's the Mice, and another chapter, It's the Deer. So today we're going to talk about the mice, but we most definitely have to continue talking about the deer. The ticks are on the mice at a different stage in life, as nymphs. Later on in life, as adults, they are most certainly on the deer. What we want to do is follow the lead of the Tick Project, follow Dr. Osfeld's lead, and introduce these bait boxes across Staten Island to reduce the tick population. I want to apologize ahead of time to my dear friend Dr. Osfeld, because he is a researcher, he is an academic, he's a brilliant guy. He doesn't think the pie is fully baked yet. I am an elected official who has friends like Dee Vandenberg and so many others who are suffering from Lyme disease. My thrust is, you know what? The science may not have borne it out completely to your standard, but we got to talk to the mayor and we got to get this on Staten Island. And I'm happy today that we are, in fact, announcing it. The mayor alluded to the 4 posters. Dee's been talking about it forever. This is for deer. Think about it. Same thing. Draw them with food. The deer roll up against the post. The post drops some liquid on it to kill the ticks. The idea is tick suppression. I look forward to the day that we have those on Staten Island. I look forward to working with the city and the state to get them here. I don't want to wait anymore. And I am happy that the first formal press conference that Mayor de Blasio is having is in fact on this issue. This is not a case of, well, you got Lyme disease, go to your doctor, you do a couple of bouts of doxycycline or amoxicillin or some sort of penicillin or antibiotic, and everything is hunky-dory. Sometimes, yeah, that is the case. Many other times you have the path that Bob is taking, the path that Dee is taking. In Nantucket, and I'm going there in September, and you will see all kinds of ingredients and homemade recipes and clothing that I will take with me. In Nantucket, they are in a 3-year project where they are releasing genetically engineered mice. Whatever the local community wants, I'm in favor of it. I don't know if we'll ever get to that day on Staten Island, but Borough Hall will not rest until we are doing everything to suppress the tick population and reduce the number of cases. I will close with this. There was a really important article that appeared on Vox.com about the inoculation, about a vaccine. There was a Lyme disease vaccine on the market for a short while, and during the hysteria of anti-vaccination, it was pulled off the market. When Dr. Bassett came to Borough Hall with the dog, I actually had my dog. My dog, Jocko, my pug, my 13-month-old pug, has a Lyme vaccine, and you and I cannot get that. We need to do everything we can to push Washington, D.C. to make a vaccine available again. If you don't want to get it, I'm not trying to compel you to get it. God bless you. I know I want one. I know my wife wants one. I want to be able to go with the Borellis to Millbrook and be smart and enjoy that. I want to be able to go across New York City and cross Staten Island and enjoy our great park. So I've spoken too long, but I am really passionate about this. Mr. Mayor, again, I want to thank you for the work your staff has been doing with Jason Reshevsky, my chief of staff, Dr. Ginny Montello, who heads up our health initiatives. This is not an overnight thing. This is the culmination of a phase. We got a lot of work to do, and I take anybody up on the offer at an appropriate time with appropriate designated drivers to talk with Senator Lanza and I about the deer factor along the lines of the mice. Thank you.